Testing. Okay, good evening, students. Today we're going to, this is as for geography, okay? Today we're going to continue our study on the river. Unit 2.3, how do fluvial process shape the land? So, today we're going to continue the landscape, okay, along the river, and we're going to talk about the features in the middle course and also the lower course. So last time we have already talked about the landscape in the upper course, okay, like how does the erosion process, okay, that produce the landscape in the upper course, such as like waterfall, such as like rapid, such as like the punch pool, okay, such as like the V-shaped valley or the interlocking spurs. Okay, so therefore, today we're going to talk about that is to the downstream. Okay, so the landscape in the middle course and lower course. For example, okay, so I have chosen this picture as the background. It is because actually, number one, I think that would be a very nice picture. And then the second, it really shows the characteristics, okay, of the river in the middle or lower course. For example, okay, first, if you ask me where is the upper course, where is the upstream, where is the downstream, I don't know. But you can see, okay, so the curve here, okay, the winding of the river here, actually, that would be very nice. And I would say, like in Hong Kong, we seldom see that kind of river. Why? It is because I always mention that the river in Hong Kong that is relatively short, okay, and there's a lot of human modification on the river. Therefore, Therefore, you won't see the natural development of the river like this. And that is mainly, remember, that is the shape of the river here, that is mainly caused by the lateral erosion of the river. So therefore, let's start. For the topic, Unit 2.3, Part 2. Okay, right now we're going to talk about what are the features or the landform, okay, could be formed at middle course. For middle course, I would say we will talk about mainly like one, okay, one features, okay, that is called meander, meander. Okay, so first, before we talk about like the meander, we have to know that what should be the characteristic of the river in the middle course. Before, like in the upper course, we know that, okay, the energy in the upper course that is relatively low. It is because the discharge of the river that is small, okay. But the gradient, okay, in the upper course that is also large. So steep sloped. So therefore, what will be the case in the middle course? So let's have a look. Okay. So one main point I would say, compared to the upper course, in the middle course, the energy of the river it should be larger. Why? It is because there would be in the middle course, the river flow, okay, the river flow would be faster, faster water river flow. That's right, more energy, and also, you should know that the discharge, okay, the volume of the water in the middle course that is larger than the upper course. And also, besides the energy, besides the speed, besides the discharge, okay, so you may note that the gradient actually of the slope in the middle course actually it decrease. And please highlight this in your textbook. The river started to bend. It means that compared to the stream in the upper course, we would say the stream in the upper course that is relatively short and also that is like in straight line, but in the middle course, we would say the river starts to bend. What does that mean? It means the river, okay, imagine that would be from the upstream to downstream. The river started to bend like this. So you can see the winding of the river. Why? Okay, it is because with more energy compared to the upper course, so therefore the erosion, transportation, deposition work at the same time inside the channel. And especially when we talk about like erosion, just now I've mentioned it should be the lateral erosion. So I will explain how like the lateral erosion that may take place. So therefore, more energy, more erosion, more transportation, more deposition. So therefore, they produce meander, okay, so in the river. And then, so what would be the features associated with the meander? So there will be the slip of slopes, okay, slip of slope, and also the river cliff, the river cliff. Okay, so therefore, let's have a look. What is meander? Okay, what is meander? So rivers seldom follow a straight line, okay, straight water course. Friction, okay, friction, we have to highlight this. Friction with the channel bed, and bank cause the turbulence, okay, turbulence. This results in the spiraling flow of river of water. Erosion take place at the outer bank, okay, this one, we must highlight this, very important, where the speed of water flow is high. Okay? At the same time, deposition take place at the inner banks where the speed of river flow is slow, over time a winding channel called meander form. Okay, so therefore that would be about like the paragraph to describe what should be the formation of meander. If we draw, okay, so let me use the notes to describe like what is meander. Okay, like this. So just now from the paragraph, it mentioned that the water that seldom goes like a straight course. So therefore, there must be like bending of the river. For example, like this. Okay, some bending, and of course that is an overview. Okay, that is an overview, and the water that flowed, okay, like this from the upper course, from the upstream to downstream, Okay, first it is necessary for us to understand like what should be the characteristic of the river. Okay, so we know that okay, if I draw the cross section, of a river, okay, again, cross section of the river, so we should know that, okay, like on both sides, that is what we call the river banks, okay, and then at the bottom here, that would be the river bed. Okay, and then let's go back to the overview. On both sides. So we know that that would be the river banks. Okay, river banks. However, when we talk about like the formation of meander, when we mention like the river banks, it is necessary for us to identify where is the outer bank and where is the inner bank. Okay, outer and inner, that is obvious. So here you can see that this is the inner bank, or there that would be on the opposite, outer bank. Okay, so you may understand it as like 內灣, 外灣, something like this. So therefore, what should be the implication of the characteristic of the river flow in the inner bank and outer bank? Okay, so I used here to describe, I would say in the inner bank, normally the water flowed slower. Remember that is compare to okay, I will write compare to this level. If we draw the cross section, okay, we will compare like this. Okay, point A at that side, point B on the inner bank. Okay, in the inner bank, the water actually that flowed slower. On the other hand, in the outer bank, the water flowed faster. That would be the first point. It is necessary for us to understand that, okay, if the water flowed, okay, from the upper stream to downstream, okay, at the outer bank flow faster, in the bank flow slower, then, okay, so that is what we have learned in the beginning about the concept. If the water flow faster, it means that the energy, the river energy at that point, that would be higher. Okay. On the other side, if the water flows slower, it means that the energy would be lower. And next, we know that energy determines the fluvial process, okay, in the river. If the energy is high, so therefore erosion that may take place. And at that point, especially along the meander, this is lateral erosion. On the other hand, on the inner bank, as the water flows slower, so therefore the energy is lower, then deposition will be taking place. So therefore, even at the same point, okay, maybe yeah, same point along the river, but just the difference between outer bank and inner bank, okay. So we can have two different fluvial process. Then it may lead to two different landscape or two different features. So therefore, what would be the result? So let's have a look. Let's go back to the textbook. Okay, let's go back to the textbook. Here it mentioned that okay, in the meander, water flow faster at outer bank of the band. Lateral erosion occurred and undercut the outer bank to produce a river cleft. And in the bank, water flows slower. Hence, the load carried by the river is deposited and create a slip of slope. Okay, slip of slope. So therefore, what should be the explanation, or you may refer to the figure on the next page, figure 12. Okay, so you may look at figure 12, and then I will use my notes to explain. Okay, so here let's draw a normal cross section of the river first. Okay, so imagine that if it is like symmetric, okay, like this. Uh, okay, so that is like a normal cross section of a river. However, that is just, I would say, just like a normal. That is on a straight line. So if we see the river, that would be like this, straight line. I may tell you the cross section of the river, it will be like that. You can still see the riverbed and river banks. Okay, with banks, something like this. But if the river that bend, that bend, I hate this. That bend, okay. If the river flowed like this, and we can identify here inner bank and also outer bank. So therefore, what would be the cross section, okay, of the river channel? That would be like this. As we have mentioned, in the outer bank, the water flow faster. So therefore, higher energy and erosion may take place, and then on the other side, deposition. Okay, on the other side, deposition. So therefore, what would be the changes? Okay, the changes, it would be like this. So if I draw a normal river cross section like this. Okay, right now I have to note where would be the inner bank, where would be the outer bank. Okay, just like what I have drawn here. Imagine that on the right hand side, that would be the inner bank. On the other side, outer bank, outer bank. And we know that in the outer bank the water flow faster. So therefore, erosion takes place, especially lateral erosion. And in the inner bank, water flows slower. And then deposition that may take place. Okay, so therefore, let's have a look. So this time I use red, okay, to indicate erosion. So when the water flow in the river along the bending, okay, in the meander, okay, for the outer bank here, there should be the lateral erosion. It is because on this side, okay, on this side, so the water will flow faster. So therefore, erosion will be taking place. So therefore, the shape of the river that may move to, okay, that may move outward, okay, as this part will be eroded away. There will be erosion. And then on the other side, that position. Okay, this one I will use like maybe yellow. Okay, maybe yellow. As here, okay, for on the inner bank, the water that flows slower. So therefore, deposition that may occur on that side, and the repeating deposition, okay, the repeating deposition that could be like this. So therefore, for the key, okay, you may mark here yellow. That would be for the deposition, and then the red, it would be lateral erosion. So what should be the new cross section of the river? It would be like this. Okay, I will use blue, okay, to indicate the nude cross section. Okay, so the nude cross section of the river, it would be like this. It becomes asymmetric, okay, So therefore, the nude cross section of the band, that would be like this. And you can still see the outer bank, and also inner bank. Okay. So therefore, that would be the formation, okay, so of the meander. Then how do we call these features? Okay, on outer bank here, outer bank, that is what we have just mentioned in the textbook. That is called the river cliff. That is what we call the river cliff. And then on the other side there, that is the slip of slope. So therefore, in your textbook here, okay, maybe the previous page, okay, here, you can see that is how the river cliff, okay, and the slip of slope that formed. And then on the next page, you can see that there will be the three different courses of the river, cross section A, B, and C, and you can see the different cross sections, okay, at different part. For example, right here, if we use the example here, cross section X and Y, okay, X and Y, okay, and you can see that X here, that would be the inner bank of the river, and Y here, it would be the outer bank. That's why the cross section from X to Y, it would be like this. Okay, in the inner bank, slip-off slope would be formed as the sediment, as the load, as the material would be deposited, then build up, okay, on the inner bank. But in the outer bank, okay, at the river crypt, most material will be eroded, or what we call here, what we mentioned for this term, undercut. Okay, those areas will be undercut by the lateral erosion. Then it forms a cliff. Why? It is because in the outer bank, the water that will flow faster. However, in the bank, water flows slower. So therefore, you can see that, okay, especially for this, you have to highlight this. You have to highlight this figures. Okay, figure 12. Actually, that shows how the river that transform from like a straight course to the winding section, or how the river that bends. Okay, so that would be like this. So therefore, if the river that keep bending, I would say the shape of the river that will change as well. Okay. So we're going to talk about it later. So for the changes of the river, okay, then you will see that on the photos here, okay, on figure 13, okay, so a meandering river along Changjiang, okay, so you can see that all this, that is the winding of the river. So therefore, this is what we call the meander. And then on the other side, if we just uh, take out one point, one section of the river, then you can uh, identify what will be the slip-off slope and also the river cliff. Okay, so river cliff at the outer bank, slip-off slope will be the inner bank. Okay, so that is the formation of meander. So before we move to the next part, we move to the features in the lower course. Okay, let Mr. Liu teach you one more concept, but that is not exactly what you're going to apply in your exam. So that is about like something I would say like 風水啦. Okay, so why this is about like 風水? It is because if you just use this area, okay, for as an example, okay, if I ask, which side, okay, in the inner bank or outer bank, do you think that would be like a good place for someone to build his house or to settle, okay, on side A? Okay, not clear for this one. For side A or side B, okay, A or B, A or B. So of course, once if we know like the formation of meander, we should know that A, side A, it would be much better than side B to build the house. Why? It is because we can know that on side 8, side 8, side 8, there will be no erosion? It is because inside B, on the river cliff, we should know that there must be the lateral erosion. It means that the material on side B here, in the future, it may collapse. It may be eroded by the river. It may disappear. Okay. So therefore, it is not a good idea to build something to settle on side B. However, on side A, first there will be no erosion on side A. That would be the first point. That would be good. The second point, that is, as in the inner bank. Okay, so the fluvial process, that is mainly deposition. Therefore, the soil there, that would be much better. Why? It is because those sediment, those it could be like the nutrients or the alluvium, okay, it would be deposited on side A. Therefore, it would be good for farming. Okay, on side A, the soil that is relatively good, then it would be good for farming. So therefore, we can apply, okay, our geography knowledge on, like, to check, to assess on which side that would be good for settlement, that would be good for farming. So from this case, okay, so I would say we can we can use this as the reference. And that's it about the formation of meander. Okay, right now, yes, we can go to the lower course. So for middle course, there's just one. Okay, there's just one features we need to study. That will be the meander. And for the meander, we can know that the slip-off slope and also the river cliff. Okay, then let's go to the lower course. For lower course, as there's too many of landscape features, I don't think I can finish all the features today. So therefore, I'll just talk about like one features in the lower course today. Okay, so let's have a look. So what would be the characteristic in the lower course first? Compared to middle course and lower course, okay, compared to upper course and middle course, the energy, or first you may say the discharge, hmm? the discharge of the river in the lower course, it would be the highest. Okay, it is because that would be the highest amount of water. So therefore, the discharge that would be the highest, then the energy, okay, of the in this section, it will also be highest. It will also be highest. Okay, and the gradient in lower course, that would be the lowest. So most area in the lower course, it should be the fat land. Okay, and what would be the fluvial process that may be carried out in lower course? Just now we mentioned, okay, so the discharge and the energy will be the highest. Does it mean that erosion will be taking place mainly? Remember, no. Okay, for the major, okay, please highlight this. For the major activities, fluvial process in lower course, it must be deposition. It must be deposition. Why there will be deposition? Just now I've mentioned that, like, the energy along the river, the lower cost will be the highest. But why? There's still deposition? It is because we need to also mark one more point. When the energy that will be the highest in the lower cost, and the gradient that will be mainly the fat land, but it is necessary for us to mark one more criteria, as the amount of load. Okay, in the lower course, that is also the highest. That is also the highest. Where do all this load come from? That would be from the middle course and also from the upper course. So therefore, the amount of load in the lower course, it should be highest. It should be highest. Then, then when there's changes, when there's sudden changes of the energy, the flow of energy along the river, okay, the flow of river, okay, along the river, if the energy drops a little bit, that position that may take place, that may take place. Okay, so that's why in the lower course, the major fluvial process we're going to explain, we're going to talk about, that will be deposition. So what landscape could be found in the lower course stand? So here that would be some example, such as like Oxbow Lake. Okay, we will explain Oxbow Lake today, and then floodplains. Okay, levees, braided streams. Okay, and also the delta at the mouth of the river. So you can see there could be lot of landscape, okay, in the lower course. And today we're going to talk about like the Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lake, okay, Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lake, okay, first, what is Oxbow Lake? Do you have the Chinese term for Oxbow Lake? Ah, yes. Oxbow Lake here, in Chinese we call it 牛鴨湖啦. Okay, so from the name you may not really understand like what should be the features. You may understand it could be like a lake. Okay, a lake. So let's have a look about the paragraph of what is Oxbow Lake first. Okay, Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lake are developed from meanders, which are also common in the lower course. As lateral erosion becomes more active at the outer bank at the lower course, the meander bends more. The bends may grow closer during a flood. A river cuts through and the two bends joint. A new channel is formed. The abandoned channel will be sealed by deposition and form an Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lake is a product of lateral erosion and deposition. Okay, so therefore, let's highlight some key points in this paragraph first. Okay, Oxbow Lake actually developed from the meander. Okay, so that is relatively common in the lower course. But in Hong Kong, is there any Oxbow Lake? I would say in one case, we can say that could be like Oxbow Lake, but it is not produced by a natural process. Okay, I'll explain it later. Okay, and then lateral erosion, and the river bends. Okay, river bends. Okay, and the abandoned channel, and most important, Oxbow Lake is a product of lateral erosion and deposition. So this is all like the explanation from your textbook. So therefore, what is exactly like Oxbow Lake? Okay, so I would use, of course, you may have a look in your textbook at the bottom here, okay? But I will use my explanation, I will use my notes here. For Oxbow Lake, okay, Oxbow Lake. Okay, so what is the formation of Oxbow Lake? Just now in the textbook, it mentioned that that is associated with meander. So therefore, here, let me draw a meander. Let me draw a meander first. Meander, okay. And the water flow from the upstream to downstream. And okay, for the formation of Oxbow Lake, it is also necessary for us to identify where should be the inner banks, where should be the outer bank. For example, all this section, okay, so outer bank, inner, I use another color maybe. Hmm? Inner bank, okay, inner bank, here, inner bank, and outer bank, outer bank here. Okay, so therefore that would be for different part of the river along the meander. Okay, so it is necessary for us to mark also like the speed of the flow. Okay, speed of the flow. In the outer bank, that flow faster, 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 faster. So therefore, the major process that would be erosion. Erosion. Yes, we need to mark all. And then on the inner bank, flow slower. So therefore, I'm not going to write all. That position. That position. That would be very very complicated. So therefore, what would be the development? Okay, I'll use this point. I'll use this as the start. For example, okay, here on this river bank, on this outer bank, there would be the lateral erosion. On the outer bank also, there would be the erosion. Right here, erosion, erosion. Okay, and maybe I draw a little bit farther away. Okay, erosion, erosion at the outer bank, erosion at the outer bank. So therefore, if the erosion that continue, if the erosion that continue, I may tell you two outer bank here, two outer bank here that may touch, okay, that may touch. So therefore, what could be the drawing? Okay, so I know that is too much color, so therefore I draw a better one. Okay, so that is okay. So imagine that here in the outer bank, there will be the erosion. There will be erosion, and here there will be the erosion. There will be erosion. So therefore, later, later, the river that may connect as a new one, okay, as here that may be eroded away by the river flow. So therefore, what could be the new look, okay, of the river? That could be like this. That could be like this. So the new river, it may become this that connects the old one. Okay, and then the river will flow in this direction, And you will see that for this part, actually, that is what we have mentioned in the textbook. That is the abundant channel. Why? It is because when the water that flow here, okay, it will flow faster. So therefore, the water, okay, that will flow to this in this direction, it won't, or it seldom float into this part, as it may flow slower. So therefore, for this abundant, okay, abundant channel, especially in this area, there may be deposition. Then it will block this abundant channel. Then for the new lake, for the new feature here, that is what we call the Oxbow Lake. Okay, that is what we call the Oxbow Lake. And you can see that here, the river that continue to flow in this direction. Okay. Okay, so therefore that would be the formation of Oxbow Lake. And you can see that in your textbook. I know that that would be much better than my drawing. And you can see, okay, so that is when there's active lateral erosion pushing two outer banks. Okay, you have to talk about pushing two outer banks, okay, towards each other. Then sometimes it could be like the flood water that cut across the narrowed neck between the outer banks. Then the river water then follows the straight course. Okay, please highlight this. Straight course. And here, okay, we call it neck. So after that, okay, you can see the abundant channel sealed by sediment. Okay, here that is the abundant channel, and it is sealed by the sediment. Okay, that will be the deposition. Then a lake, okay, that is formed, and this one, that is what we call the Oxbow Lake. So therefore, that would be the formation of Oxbow Lake. And you can see the real appearance of the Oxbow Lake like here. Okay, Oxbow Lake. So Oxbow Lake, that is relatively common in the lower course. And let me go back to one case just now I've mentioned. Is there any Oxbow Lake in Hong Kong? Mr. Liu say, we may say it could be similar to Oxbow Lake, but that is not produced by the natural phenomenon. I would say that is like the from the artificial activities or from the human activities. Okay, let me show you. If we use the Google Map, okay, if we go to the Shenzhen River, I always use this example, okay, but not for the formation of Oxbow Lake. This is the channelization. You can see that there actually that is an abundant channel. like an Oxbow Lake. Right now, it is like a lake, Oxbow Lake. But is that really caused by a natural lateral erosion? For example, you can see here, okay, a straight river channel. Of course, no. Okay, so this channel actually that is the result of channelization。呢個係一個人工嘅河道化嚟嘅，呢個係河道化。咁做完河道化，咁點解做河道化呢？因為係為咗令到解決so to prevent the problem of flooding. Okay, so therefore, channelization that has been carried out. So therefore, you can see a straight channel, and then the abundant channel that is formed. So therefore, there could be like an Oxbow Lake. Okay, but remember, this is not a natural Oxbow Lake， 唔係天然嘅牛噏湖嚟嘅呢個係人工做咗河道化之後出嚟嘅一個嘅產物。Okay, so therefore don't tell this is like a natural Oxbow Lake. So therefore, right now, let me show you some natural river. Okay, natural river that may you may see the formation of Oxbow Lake. So where should we go for that case? I suggest we go there. We go there. So that is the Amazon River. It is because you can see actually as the Amazon River will be one of the largest river in the world. So therefore, especially in the lower coast, you can see the winding of the river that is very very great. For example, like this. Okay. For example, like this. So therefore, it is also common to see the formation of Oxbow Lake in River Amazon. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, we go to Amazon. Okay, we go to Brazil. Okay, let me pick. It should be here. This one that is a little bit large. Let's see. Okay, don't expect that the Oxbow Lake that would be very very big. Okay. So let me find out the lower course first. There's the vegetation that is quite dense, so therefore I can't really see the river. Okay. I can't really see the river. Okay, here, yes. Here, that could be like this, similar. But I'm not sure that you can see it very, very clear. Okay, this one. Okay, you can see that. Okay, like a lake here, but that is not really sealed. Okay, sealed by the sediment. You can still see a ring like in that pace. Okay, and then let's see. There's a lot of crowd here. Okay, I think in this part that is not much Oxbow Lake, or maybe here that would be too large. Okay, that would be too large. But we can see some example like this. Okay, so the winding of the meander. Okay, the winding of the meander, and it is expected that, okay, like this point in the future, okay, so that may be connected, and this part, it will become an Oxbow Lake as well. Okay, so let's see if there's more examples. We can see the Oxbow Lake. Yes, as this place that is really really large, so therefore that is not quite clear to see the Oxbow Lake in real. Okay, so maybe later if I find one extinct and one uh, distinct Oxbow Lake, okay, I can show you later. So therefore, that would be about the case of Oxbow Lake, the formation of Oxbow Lake. And in the next chapter, oh no, in the next lesson, I will explain another features in the lower course, including the floodplains, the levees, delta, and also beta stream. Okay, so therefore, if you have any questions, okay, you can ask me through the email and through the WhatsApp. Okay, I'm sorry that I just realized that, okay, before I type it wrong for the phone number. So therefore, some students say, Mr. Liu, the number is not working. Okay, it is because I type it wrong. So this one, that would be the correct one. So you may ask me through the email or through the WhatsApp, or you can also leave your comment. Okay, you can also leave your comment on this video. Okay, so next time we will continue the topic of the how the how do the fluvial process that shape the land. Okay, so we will finish the landscape, okay, in the lower course. Okay, so if you have any problems, if you have any questions, okay, please feel free to leave a message to me. Okay, I will answer you as soon as possible. So therefore, okay, so that's all for today. Okay, so I will see you in the future, and goodbye.